What is up, you guys? Welcome back to the YouTube channel. If you're new here, be sure to subscribe. I'll pop 6 different videos from the channel that I've made before so you guys can see what we're all about on the channel if you are new. If you're not, then I appreciate you guys for sticking around, and if you enjoyed this video, be sure to thumbs up the video because it makes me super happy and keeps me excited. Anyway, what is the topic of today's video? It is all about my 5 top tips for meal prepping to make it easy, convenient and cost effective. So without further ado, let's get into some serious bites right now, guys. Yummy food coming your way. So you hear it time and time over again, I'm all about convenience, and yes, I'm a fan of the Uncle Ben's simply because it takes 2 minutes in the microwave. Well, actually, it's always too hot when it comes out, so I only chuck it in for about a minute. But that's my recommendation. Packet rice, time saver. It's a little bit more expensive, but I like to save time, so I substitute cost for time. Do the ratio, guys. It's really up to you at the end of the day. So it's about 3:30 in the afternoon. Rice is cooking away. I'm literally going to ding it in there for a minute. What is this, you might be wondering? This right here is minced turkey. I chuck some spices in there, hence the colour. I can also put a little bit of salsa or some sort of like sauce or flavouring, depending on what you're after. That could be a Nando sauce. It could be a spicy tomato sauce. It could be a pesto sauce. Don't know why you want pesto over your turkey, but each to their own. Choose a protein, choose a carb. This is based on my goals right now. My current goals are for like a lean bulk, effectively, and then every month, if that, every sort of 3 weeks, I'll probably chuck in a mini cut just to keep myself looking lean throughout the summer. This is the way to do it. Meal prep it. Get it done in advance. Right everyone, so all I do with the turkey is I buy like a pack of minced turkey. I'll either do it in the slow cooker or I'll cook it on the hob, and then I'll pre-portion it, I'll weigh it out and then freeze it in bags or plastic tubs. It really is up to you, and that is how I will do my personal meal prep. That's something that works for me. I chuck a bit of the sauce on there, and it's just sort of a convenient way of dinging it in the microwave nice and fast. If you make it all yourself, it obviously works out cheaper. Personally, I don't always eat at home. In fact, I rarely eat at home, so meal prep for me is dinner. If I'm not going out or socialising with friends, doing whatever, I eat out a lot because I'm traveling a lot, and generally I like to eat out. So this video is all about prepping, so I thought I'd show you guys some of the options that I take to make life a little bit more convenient. Once you get your bulk meal prep done out of the way on like the weekend, for example, it's already set for the week, and then you can just get out what you want when you want it. I'm gonna smash this lunch, and I'll see you guys at the next meal. Alright everyone, checking in for the next meal. It's currently actually almost 1 in the morning now, which is ridiculously late, and I don't recommend eating at this time. But here it is. We've gone for our turkey mince on shredded lettuce with some balsamic glaze, handful of walnuts and handful of almonds, and a little bit of dried mango. So gonna smash this, just finished editing a video, hence why we're up late. Trying to really push the content out. Hope you guys are enjoying it. I'll see you guys tomorrow morning for breakfast. So, I'm not a big vitamin guy in the morning typically, but for the sake of the video, I'll talk to you guys a little bit about supplements. So these are the 2 I go for. We've got a multivitamin and a omega-3 tablets. Like I said, they're not essential, so you don't need them. Supplements are only there to supplement you, hence why it's in the name. Don't just buy stuff because you see everyone using it. I don't always get my nutrients in because I'm always out and about working, so I don't really tend to have the time to necessarily have proper meals all the time. Hence why I'll tend to go for omega-3s and multivitamin. Another thing that I didn't mention to you guys that I really like to take seriously is drinking lots of water. I often like to drink from bottles of water just because I don't really like drinking tap water, and also that means I tend to drink more water in the day. So I'll often go to Tesco or somewhere in the morning, Or if you want to save a bit of money, you can go to the wholesaler and buy cases and cases of 2 litre bottles of water or 1.5 litre bottles, and then you can smash for as many bottles as you can in a day. I tend to go for around 2 bottles to 3 a day. Unless it's a warm day like today, then I'll try and get 4 bottles of water in. A lot of people could do more, but I mean, that's just my preference, so I'm gonna go there now. Back from Tesco, obviously. Grabbed some water this morning. It's currently about 12:30 in the afternoon. Just gonna smash a sesame bagel because they are lovely. I normally have these with avocado, but I'm gonna have it with peanut butter today. Just using the crunchy, because I'm on that crunchy life. Whole earth peanut butter is the one I tend to go for. So I recommend that if you guys are a fan. I'm also going for Mornflake Go high protein porridge. There's 7 grams of protein per serving. Definitely recommend that. I would normally go for almond milk just to get more protein in throughout the day, but I don't have any, so I'm just gonna use normal full fat milk today just to get my calories up. But always look at your nutrient timing, guys. That's the one thing I would say is I'm gonna be training later on this evening, so I'll space my calories out throughout the day. Carb backloading is something I like to do, but I'll chat to you guys about that in a second. All right, you guys, we're back. Talking about carb loading like I did a bit earlier on. Basically, carb loading is just keeping your carbs towards the end of the day. So if you're going out in the evening, socializing, whatever it is you're doing, I generally like to keep some carbs back in the evening so I can have a big dinner. I don't typically get a big appetite in the afternoon. Today is a bit of a different day. I wanted to show you guys what I was gonna have for lunch. So I've decided to opt for something fairly convenient that you guys can prep in advance and chuck in the microwave if you're at work, if you're at college, school, university, whatever. You can have this cold if you want to. You can have a salad version of it. It really doesn't matter. But I've gone for 1 packet of Uncle Ben's long grain rice. I've gone for 200 grams of turkey mince with some hot chili sauce and some red kidney beans in there just to up the protons. Chucked in a few of these little bad boy almonds. Got about 15 of them in there, so just add that into my MyFitnessPal, and that way you can track your calories. You can literally make this up in a lunchbox and freeze it like this if you wanted to. You can also buy stuff like this, but you've got to be careful with pre-made meals with like the salt content and stuff like that. They're not always as healthy as they're marketed. Sometimes it's the packaging, so just be aware. But this is a convenient little option that I like to go for. But I'm having a few carbs earlier today because I'm training a bit earlier than normal. So that basically explains as to why I'm having rice and stuff now, because I'm going to be training in 3-4 hours. So I'm going to use up these carbs by the time I get to my workout. I absolutely love these convenient meals. I love doing the stuff in advance. It's saving me money in the long run, and it's actually better for me in terms of tracking my macros. It makes me feel more accountable. Chicken salad, very nice indeed. Honestly, guys, I love prepping stuff myself, but when you come home and you're tired after gym, tired after a long day's work, the last thing you want to be doing is prepping meals, getting stuff out of the freezer. Sometimes even if you have got it out, you don't really want what you've got out. So if you've got a bit of flexibility and the shops are open, this is where people tend to go wrong. It's understanding what you can have as a convenient sort of fast food meal in terms of calories, what's going to be beneficial for you to keep you on track without sort of, deterring you from making progression, All right, you guys, we are back, and I wanted to give you guys my top 5 tips for meal prepping. Is what I do personally, and it's what I do for my clients. Something I definitely recommend. Number 1 is going to be bulk prepping and cooking your proteins and your carbs all at the same time, so that it's out the way. If it's pasta, chicken, rice, potatoes, sweet potato, whatever your variation is, it doesn't matter what it is, cook it in advance, get it out of the way, and do it all in one go. So I always tend to prep my veg in advance, all the same vegetables, and then cook everything off separately, and then do exactly the same with the proteins, and then I separate everything into separate tubs, and then I'll cook everything off individually. Number 2 is going to be planning. The most important thing is to plan what it is you're going to be having throughout the week, how you're going to split it, what veg you're going to have with each meal, and how you get the balance of protein, fat, and carb in there, as well as getting your fiber up, because a lot of people tend to underestimate the amount of fiber that should be beneficial for them in the diet. I tend to go for the ratio of imagining a plate of food. I'll pop a diagram on the screen. As you can see, the majority of the plate is actually greens and carbs. So when you're training on a training day, I tend to have my carbs a little bit higher, and my protein will be a little bit higher also. And then it will dip off on a rest day. So that is my best recommendation for tip number 2. Number 3 is storage. How are you going to store all of the food you've prepped? I literally invest in a freezer. I think it's the smartest thing to do. I bought a small little chest freezer. It keeps everything inside it. everyone has a freezer at home for your frozen chips and your wedges or whatever it is that you have. So at the end of the day, why not portion and freeze all of your meals in advance? How you're going to store those meals is really up to you guys. I tend to store things in the freezer and then get it out maybe a day or so in advance as to when I'm going to have it. Some people like to prep fresh food on a Sunday, ready for a Monday through Wednesday, and then they'll prep on the Wednesday again for the rest of the week. But my preference is to get it all out the way on the weekend so that it's ready for the following week. The storage is going to be really important. You need to have the storage space, plastic tubs, fridge space, freezer space, whatever it is that you need. Make sure that you've got enough storage space before you actually prep the food. Tip number 4 is when you go to the supermarket to buy your actual products, buying stuff in bulk is obviously going to be the cheapest way to do it. Going to something like a wholesaler like Booker or Macro, one of the big chains, is going to generally be a lot cheaper than going to a supermarket such as Tesco. However, if you weren't able to get access to a wholesaler, then I definitely recommend going to the cheaper stores like Lidl and Aldi. Everyone always speaks about it. A lot of the bigger stores actually also offer discounted products towards the end of the evening. So if you shop in the evening, you can actually buy fresh foods or fresh products that are going off, so to speak, and prep them the following day, because at the end of the day their sell by dates are going to go off, so you might as well buy them when they're cheaper. A supermarket can only keep it on the shelf for as long as they deem it to be fresh, right? However, it doesn't mean that you can't not eat it when it goes out of date. There's a best before date and then there's a expiry date. Obviously best before is the one where you can eat it up to and past. Expiry date, you obviously don't eat past that expiry date, is pretty standard. And tip number 5 is going to be the most important one, which is the cost. How much are you spending each time you're doing your meal preps? What ingredients you're getting, how much you're getting in terms of quantity, what you're getting for your money's worth. These are all things we need to consider, okay? So when it comes to the 5th tip, I always tend to give people a basic rule of thumb, which is calculating a percentage of what I would normally spend on food split throughout a working week, okay? So my best advice to you is to budget accordingly with what you believe to be your average weekly spend on food, and then backtrack from there each day to calculate how much you spend on food per meal. So bear in mind, guys, when you buy these foods, when you go to the supermarket or if you order online or if you go to the wholesaler, it can be more expensive the more variations of things you buy, okay? If you go to the supermarket and you're buying 1 kilo of rice, okay, because every single meal you're gonna have throughout the week is with rice, you only need to buy 1 bag of rice. You don't need to buy rice, pasta, all of these other variations, okay? You've basically limited yourself, so you have less option, but it works out cheaper when you buy in bulk. Does that make sense? All right, you guys, that is enough talking, and it's come to the end of the video. I really appreciate you guys sticking around. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to thumbs it up and subscribe if you are new here. It really makes me happy, and I'm trying to go for 500 subs by the end of the month. That would be amazing. Really appreciate the support, guys. I'll see you in the next video. New exciting edits and all of the normal style is coming back to the channel. I miss entertaining you guys with sick edits, content. It's all just been educational recently, and I want you guys to stick around and enjoy the content. So the next video coming this week is going to be super exciting. I'll take you guys through my favorite workouts in the gym. It's going to be amazing. I'll see you guys then.